اللهم أنت السلام والسلام تبارك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. استغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. استغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. استغفر الله اللهم أنت السلام اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help these reflections on the lives of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, the best of people after the Prophets alayhim salatu wassalam. This is episode number 40 and episode number 23 in the life of Sayyiduna Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. We talked last time about his inauguration speech and something about his care for his people, for the Muslims, and seeking their advice, seeking advice from them, asking them to give him advice, and even making dua for those who give him advice. And he staying up, also he's staying up late to take care of his people, radiallahu anhu arda. Today we will continue also about some more stories that are extremely important for us, for our children, for our wives, for every Muslim to see these great morals that Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu had. And we start with another hadith of his merits. This hadith narrated by Imam Tirmidhi from Sayyiduna Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, that a man said to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam one day, he said, رَأَيْتُ كَأَنَّ مِيزَانًا نَزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. So we notice from many hadith now that Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they used to see some dreams or visions, and they used to come to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and tell him their visions or their dreams. And as we know, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, right, Allah gave him this knowledge. So this is knowledge. But nowadays, unfortunately, most people who work in this field, let's say, they're really using it as work. So it's full of lies and full of ignorance and things that are not correct. So we have to be careful about these people, number one. Number two, as a Muslim, we should not depend on dreams. Dreams are not something that we take Sharia from. Dreams are not something that we base our life on. If I see the dream that this thing is going well, then I'm gonna do it. No. That we should not build our life on dreams in any way. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and he has knowledge about this, and Allah gave him knowledge. And the Sahaba are great people who had the right understanding. They did not build their lives on dreams, but when they see something, they explain to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it's all about merits of the Sahaba and merits of things. It's not about to do this thing or not to do it. So this Sahabi, he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I saw like a scale that came down from the heaven. Then I saw that you and Abu Bakr, you were both put on the scale. Then you overweighed Abu Bakr. Then Abu Bakr and Umar, both of them, they were put on that scale, and Abu Bakr overweighed Umar. Then Umar and Uthman, they were also put on the scale, and Umar overweighed Uthman. Then that scale was raised. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was hearing this ru'ya or vision from this Sahabi, his face changed and he did not like it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said, so he's now interpreting. He said, خِلَافَةُ نُبُوَّةٌ ثُمَّ يُؤْتِي اللَّهُ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there will be khilafah, means caliphate, which follows the footsteps of prophethood, means of him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So means after him, there will be successors or khulafa who will follow his sunnah. Then after that, and in some authentic hadith, he specifies, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by the year, and he says 30 years. Exactly 30 years. And this is one of his miracles, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because if you count the duration of the khilafah of Sayyiduna Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali, and the 6 months of Sayyidina al-Hasan, son of Sayyidina Ali, you will find it 30 years. That's one of his miracles, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then what after that? Then Allah gives kingdomship to whomever He wills. Means after that, it will not be khilafah, it will be royalty. Right? And that's what happened. Starting with Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, then after Muawiyah, his son, then everyone would put his son. Until now, we have many of the Muslim countries. This is their way of ruling, right? Just put your son, and even though they're not qualified. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us this. And in another hadith, which gives us glad tidings, he says, it will return khilafah on the footsteps of prophethood. Means at the end of time, or before the end of time, this way of ruling, which is to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in governing the affairs of the state, it will come back. That will come. That's one of the glad tidings we have. But between that, there's a lot of kingdomships, a lot of dictatorships, as he prophesied, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And now we're living, some countries dictatorships, some countries kingdomships, right? They will come to an end, inshallah, soon. So this is one of the merits of Sayyidina Umar. Why? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam described his khilafah to be khilafah of nubuwah, means khilafah of prophethood, means that he is following the footsteps of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his policies. That's a great merit for Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu. Well, let's see this in practice. Let's see how Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu used to manage the affairs of the state. He used to always take care of his people. He used to sit to listen to his people, to meet them, the old, the young, the men, the women, the noble ones, the normal ones. He used to meet everyone and not to have any like guards who will stop people from coming to him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, unlike now most officials. So the first lesson, dear brothers, for us in this merit or in this characteristic of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu is, are we sitting with the people that we are in charge of? Are we sitting with our children? Because look, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, I'm going to mention some traditions, then I'm going to come back to this. After salah, as in the authentic hadith, whenever he prays any salah radiallahu anhu, he will sit after salah. He will not just, as most of us like imams, we pray and we run right away out. No, he would pray sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he will sit. فَمَنْ كَانَتْ لَهُ حَاجَةٌ نَظَرْ فِيهِ. Whoever has a need, he will sit with him and fulfill his need. He's in charge. Radiallahu anhu. He's in charge, so he makes himself available. He's not like some of us all the time, busy, we have no time to listen to people. No. Another narration that he, after Fajr prayer, that most of us, we just go and sleep after Fajr prayer, he will sit and meet people and listen to their complaints until sunrise. Then he will go and enter his house. Radiallahu anhu. And this is, honestly, this should be the habit of every Muslim. After Fajr prayer, that is the most blessed time of the day. As Rasulullah said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, "Oh Allah, bless the early hours of the morning for my ummah." This is the blessed time of the day. This is the cream of the day. What are you doing in that time? Sleeping? We will have a time in which we will sleep for like so many years, right? So let us make use of this blessed time of the day. Of course, you cannot make it unless you sleep early. And you cannot make, I'm not going to make you late, inshallah. And you cannot also make it unless you have a nap after dhuhr. That's the sunnah, that's the system of the Muslim. That's the system. SubhanAllah, we went to the zoo at dhuhr time. Most animals, we could not see them. We could not see most animals. You know why? Because they have a nap. They take their nap. This is the sunnah for us as humans. This is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to have qaylula, to have a nap at dhuhr time. We don't. Animals, they're doing it. We don't. This is why in the early morning you see them all up, right? So, sleep early and stay up after Fajr. Sit and make dhikr until sunrise, then pray 2 rakat of duha. After 15 minutes of sunrise, you will get the reward of Hajj and Umrah that are accepted by the guarantee of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, Sayyidina Umar, that's his dhikr. To sit and fulfill people's needs, that's part of dhikr. Because you're fulfilling the mission that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the position that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you in. Another hadith. So, before that hadith, from these two narrations, of course there are so many narrations, I'm like trying to make it as brief as I can. From this, we should ask ourselves, as we mentioned last time, you have kids, and you have maybe employees who are under your supervision, and maybe you have students. Everyone has some people who are under his care. Let us ask ourselves, are we giving them their time? Are we sitting with them, listening to them, giving them time? Our children, our wives, do we give them time? Do we listen to their concerns? Do we fulfill their needs? Do we fulfill their rights? We have to pay attention. And our beloved told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari. Allah means pay attention. Ala kullukum ra. All of you are shepherds. All of you. There's no one who, unless he's a shepherd. And all of you are responsible for their flocks or for their people. He says, Al-Amir alladhi ala nas. The Amir, the one who's in charge of the community, he's responsible. And the man in his household, he's responsible. And the woman, she is responsible for her children. And the servant, he's responsible for his employer, or the one that he is serving. Then he said again, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ala means pay attention. All of you are shepherds and all of you are responsible for the people under your care. There are two stories, inshallah, we will try to mention them as we can. Very important stories about Sayyiduna Umar's care radiallahu anhu, and how he used to go around the cities of Al-Madinah and check on people and make sure everything is fine, everything is good. Sayyidina ibn Sa'd in his Tabaqat, he says, some of the people in the time of Sayyidina Umar, they would be afraid to come and talk to him. Why? Because he had haiba. He had like great personality, a great charisma, they say, right? Great charisma, right? And you know Sayyidina Umar, you know radiallahu anhu, his body and his voice and his personality is a strong personality. So some people would be really afraid to come and complain to him. So some of the Sahaba, they noticed this. Sayyidina Ali, Uthman, Talha, Zubayr, Abdurrahman bin Auf, Ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhum, all of them, they gathered. And the most daring among them, the one who was most daring to talk to Sayyidina Umar, was Sayyidina Abdurrahman bin Auf. So he came to them and he said, "O Umar, some people are afraid to talk to you. Be lenient with them. Be lenient with people. Don't frighten people. Because some of them, they want to come to you and tell you about some of their needs, then your haiba prevents them from this, then they return without talking to you." And Sayyidina Umar said, radiallahu anhu, "O Abdul Rahman, by Allah, did not Ali and Uthman and Talha and Zubair and Sa'd command you to do this?" He said, "Yes." So he knew, radiallahu anhu. So he said, "By Allah, I have been so lenient with people to the extent I became afraid of Allah, that why I'm being too lenient with them and not fulfilling the rights of Sharia and not fulfilling the rules. And at other times I feel I'm very strict with them until I feel I'm afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I'm being too strict. So what can I do? فَأَيْنَ الْمَخْرَجُ? What can I do? Sometimes I feel I'm very lenient, sometimes very strict." Then Sayyidina Abdurrahman ibn Auf started crying and pulling his cloak and leaving and saying, "Woe to them after you." Means you're doing the right thing. They cannot reach your status. The point is, leadership and responsibility requires both. Requires leniency and requires strictness. In some positions you have to be lenient, and in some positions you have to be strict. And that is something that's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's tawfiq. So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us wisdom and tawfiq. It's not something easy. We have the school and we announce that this is the deadline for registration. Then after the school starts, after the registration ends, you see a father holding his son and coming to you. "I want to register my son." What can you say to him? It's difficult. It's difficult to tell him, "Wallah, we're sorry, we have no space. We're sorry, registration is over." It's very difficult. But sometimes we have to do it. We have no option, because if we keep everyone coming, then we will not fulfill the rights of those people who registered early. This is why we keep making announcements. Hopefully everyone will hear. So it's not something that is easy. As for people who were far from Al-Madinah, of course, they did not have like telephones, right? So also people outside of Al-Madinah, Sayyidina Umar is in charge of them. So what did he used to do? He would send some of his envoys to go and check on people's situations. And also he used to tell his governors, "Send me 2 of your people." So they send him people from those cities, and he asked them about the situation of his people, of those people. So he, radiallahu anhu, did not leave like any Muslim city unless he is careful and concerned about their situation. Also, he intended to visit every Muslim land by himself to fulfill their needs, as we read in the authentic ahadith. And he said, radiallahu anhu, as in the hadith in Bukhari, by Allah, if Allah grants me the strength and the health, I will make the widows of Iraq need no one after me. Means I will fulfill the needs even of the widows of Iraq, whatever needs they need for food, for children, I will inshallah fulfill it for them. That's his care, that's his concern, radiallahu anhu Allah. Not only the people in Al-Madinah, no, all of the Muslims in the Muslim countries. He also used to go to the streets of Al-Madinah by himself. No policemen, no guards at night, people on duty. He will be on duty, radiallahu anhu. And we will finish with these two quick stories. The first one, Sayyidina Abdurrahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu mentions that he was with Sayyiduna Umar one night on duty, checking on the Muslims' affairs. Everything is safe, everyone is safe, are people sleeping, there's no problems. So he will go around. And while they were walking down one of the streets of Al-Madinah, then they noticed a light in one of the houses. It's strange. The light at night should be off, right? That's the sunnah. All the lights, put them off. Don't keep light in the bedroom. Don't keep any light in your bedroom. This is health and Shari'i advice. The more dark you make it, the more rest you will get for your brain and body. This is scientifically proven. And before scientifically proven, it's sunnah of our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Turn off your lamps, turn off the light. They found a light, so they came, and when they came close, they found the door closed. And they heard some loud voices. It seems some singing. Then Sayyidina Umar, he took Sayyidina Abdurrahman by hand and he said, do you know whose house is this? Sayyidina Abdurrahman said, no. Sayyidina Umar said, I know, this is the house of Rabi'a, son of Umayyah, son of Khalaf. And they are now drunk. So what do you think? And Sayyidina Abdurrahman said, well, I see that we're doing something that Allah forbade us to do. Allah says, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا, do not follow others to check on their mistakes or sins, and do not spy on others. And we have disobeyed Allah in this matter. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu said, you're right. He took him and he left. Radiallahu anhu Allah. What a leader. What a leader. Subhanallah. What a leader. He did not tell him, no, I'm the Khalifa, they're drunk, I'm going to punish them, I'm going to apply the penalty on them. No, that's not Islam. Now, unfortunately, we have some so-called Muslims, ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and they're even entering people's houses and punishing people inside their houses, and even digging the intentions and judging people even by their intentions. Subhanallah. They're very far from the way of Islam. The way of Islam is not to enter people's houses and follow them. And Sayyidina Umar is showing us this, showing us that how he right away responded to the reminder and quit. Radiallahu anhu arda. So what a great leader and what a great led person, Sayyidina Abdurrahman bin Auf. What a great person who did not feel any embarrassment to tell the Amir, to tell the Khalifa that we're doing something wrong. We said yes. That is when you submit to the truth. That is the great characteristic that he shows, radiallahu anhu arda. We will take one more story. We'll not be able to take all of the stories. We'll take one last story from Fada'il al-Sahaba by Imam Ahmad. Imam Ahmad has a great book about the merits of Sahaba. This authentic hadith says, Sayyidina Aslam, this is one of the servants of Sayyidina Umar. He said, we went with Umar son of Al-Khattab one day to Harrat Waqim, one of the places around Al-Madinah, and until we reached one of the wells, which is Sirar or Sarar, then we found a fire. Then Umar said, I think, or I see some people there, it seems that they're suffering of cold and they have a problem. So let's go to them. See, he's going around. He's on duty, checking on his people. Radiallahu anhu arda. Radiallahu anhu arda. What humbleness, what a greatness. He went and he said, we started jogging towards them until we reached them. Then we found a woman with her little kids. And we found a pot on the fire. There was a pot on the fire. And the kids were crying. Umar said, radiallahu anhu, Assalamu alaikum ya ashab al-daw. O people of the light, Assalamu alaikum. He did not like to say, O people of the fire. Because ashab al-nar, ashab al-nar is used in the Quran for the people of the fire. So he said, ashab al-daw, O people of the light, Assalamu alaikum. They said, wa alayka assalam. He said, A'adnu, shall I come close? You see the adab, see the character? He saw, notice there's a woman and children, there's no person, there's no man. So he said, can I come closer? Can I come closer so that I can talk to you? She said, come closer with good or leave. You want to come, you want to leave. So he came close. He said, what's wrong? She said, we're suffering of this cold and these kids are crying because of hunger. He said, what is there in this pot? She said, nothing. I'm just hoping that they will sleep. They'll get bored of waiting for the food and they will sleep. Allahu Akbar. Then she said, Wallahu baynana wa bayna Umar. She said, I'm trying to make them go to sleep and get bored until they sleep, and Allah will judge between us and Umar. She did not know that's Umar. He said, Ay rahimahillah, wama yudri Umar bikum. May Allah have mercy on you. How can Umar know about you? How can Umar know about you? He did not tell her, I'm Umar. How can Umar know about you? She said, يَتَوَلَّى عُمَرُ أَمْرَنَا ثُمَّ يَغْفُلُ عَنَّا. And how can he's in charge of us, then he's heedless of us, he doesn't take care of us, he should not be in charge of us. How can he be in charge of us and he doesn't know about us? Allahu Akbar. Look at this woman. Look at their knowledge. Look at their courage. And look at his absolute humbleness and submission and humility. Allahu Akbar. Look. He said to his servant, let's go. He went with him right away and he said, we started jogging. We went jogging. The Amir, the Khalifa is jogging until we went to the house of the wheat, where they store the wheat. And he said, we got the load of a camel. The camel, you can put two loads, one on the right, one on the left. They got one load of the camel, filled it with full of wheat and some fat. They used to store it in a way or another. And he said, who's saying to who? Sayyiduna Umar saying to his servant. He said, load it on me. Upload it on me. He said, no, ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, I can carry it. He said, move away. You will not carry my sins on the day of judgment. You will not carry my sins on my behalf on the day of judgment. Upload it on my back. So he put the things on his back, radiallahu anhu arda. And he rejected that his servant carried them. He carried them. And he went right away back to that woman and her children. And he put it, and he said, you put the wheat and I will move, I will stir. And he sat on his knees and started blowing so that the fire will be better. This is the Khalifa. This is the Muslim leader. This is the Muslim president. Allahu Akbar. He told her, you put and I will stir. And he started putting the fire better and told her, bring me some blade or something. Then she brought and he put some food and he told her, you feed them and I will spread the food so that it gets cool or cold so that they can eat. I'm spreading it and you feed them. And he continued sitting with them until she fed them, and they had some more food left, and then he got up to go. Then she started saying, Jazakallahu khairan, Jazakallahu khairan, may Allah reward you. You deserve to be the leader more than Amir al-Mu'mineen. You deserve to be the leader more than Umar. Allahu Akbar. He did not tell her. He said, Khair, say some good things when you go to Amir al-Mu'mineen. So he went far, radiallahu anhu ardah, and his servant, he said, we have some other things to do. He said, wait, let me stay until these kids sleep. Then they played a little bit and they slept. He said, I would not like to leave until I am sure that they slept and they ate their food. That is Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu ardah. That's the one that we are proud of, and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to follow his footsteps of humbleness and taking care of his people and humility and submission to the truth and serving others. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise his levels more and more and bring us with him under the banner of our beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and our sheikhs. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa jazakumullahu khair. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. بارك الله فيك. استغفر الله.